Hello and welcome to the Circuit Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. We want to start off by explaining to you a little bit about what the Circuit Podcast is all about. And that's a podcast that's powered by the Season Ticket, and it's devoted to elite grassroots basketball. We'll be bringing you in-depth analysis of various shoe circuits, grassroots, and high school basketball. But to kick us off, I'm your host, Kate Constable, and I'm joined by two guys who know this scene better than anyone out there. First, we have Alec Kinsky. Alec is our grassroots basketball historian. He's been a member of the grassroots media since 2012, running the Nike EYBL media coverage for D1 Circuit. And now he's the co-founder of the seasonticket.com, and we'll share more as we get talking about what all that website entails. But we can't start without introducing our third member. And last but definitely not least, that is a man who knows the game best. That's Rashad Phillips. Rashad's an NBA prospect analyst who owns Sports Talk 2319. It includes his very own independent draft coverage. He also runs a show called No Agendas with Kendrick Perkins, kind of a big deal. So we're excited to have him as an expert analyst on this podcast. Guys, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. I'm great.
I'm doing a little better after that intro.
Right? Well, I'm excited to get this started. We're going to have fun with this throughout the next season or whatnot. But Alec, since you own the Season Ticket and created this podcast, I'm going to let you share a little bit about why we started this and what we hope to accomplish with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked in basketball. It's been my only, job. So I've lucky enough, like Rashad and, like yourself, to work in something that they love. So I think when you're able to apply a passion to something that, you really, you enjoy what you like doing, you're able to accomplish some pretty cool things. So, working, running media for, D1 Circuit and really becoming, kind of ingrained in the EYBL and kind of seeing how everything happens. It really, made me kind of hungry to see if we can't service grassroots basketball more and, provide more for the landscape. So, I've gotten to know Rashad over the, last couple of years, and we figured this would be a, kind of a perfect fill in the gap for the industry. And I love grassroots basketball, love high school basketball, so excited to be here. I know Rashad can probably attest.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. Anytime it's basketball, I'm excited. I want to play. I want to get out on the court. That's just who I am.
Yeah, Rashad brings all the energy here for us. We like that. So, Alec, with the Season Ticket, we're tracking all wins and losses for 17, 16, 15U. So people can go to our site and find basically any information that they're looking for in terms of win-losses, stats, things like that, correct?
Yeah, so following this podcast, we're going to be releasing what's called the Circuit. So it's essentially a list of national events. We've gone through our rule of thumb. If a shoe sponsored team or program plays in that event, we're going to cover that event. So we have a scoring system that teams can rack up points by playing in certain events, playing certain teams. And we feel like it's really going to separate, especially in what they would call the year of independence, when those shoe circuits this year really kind of tell you, who's putting the product on the floor. And then moving into next year, it'll be a great way to, cover the three grassroots and kind of compare them against one another. When I started D1 Circuit, I noticed there was kind of a gap in EYBL coverage, right? It was the NBA of grassroots basketball, but they weren't treated like that really with the coverage and online. So, fast forward 8 years, I'm now seeing, kind of all of grassroots basketball is now kind of lagging behind that. So let's catch it all back up. So yeah, every win-loss, it's pretty cool. There's nowhere else on the internet you'll be able to find that. Every team that's participating in 17U, 16U, and 15U, obviously would like to go down younger than that, but starting with those three age groups.
Yep. And just to back up a little bit, for people who may not be super familiar with grassroots basketball or EYBL, various shoe circuits, can you explain a little bit about what grassroots basketball is all about?
Yeah, so grassroots, otherwise known as AAU basketball, as everyone, we got to normalize not calling everything AAU. It has really got, in the last 10 years, since 2010, has gone to, I guess, the shoe companies are the governing bodies. So Nike has their league. There's 40 teams. They play 5 events. Those teams typically consist of some of the best players in the state and surrounding area. And the same thing for Under Armour and Adidas. So There's about 85 programs across the board nationally. There was going to be 32 in the EYBL this year. They have a girls division as well. A lot of elite talent there. So yeah, it's really kind of, where the top 1% of the talent goes to. And basketball is fortunate because I don't think there's another sport in the world that kind of has an off season like that outside of soccer where you can play for you play for a club. So it's a really cool space. It's very unique.
And Rashad, what I didn't mention when I introduced you is that you were one hell of a player, played at Detroit Mercy. And guys, for those of you who might not know, Rashad finished his career with 2,319 points, hence Sports Talk 2319. So that should tell you something about how good he was. Rashad, after you were done playing basketball, you started a training and mentoring program for young kids. So you've been around the game a long time and in a few different capacities. So how has grassroots changed since you played, and how have you seen it change with kids coming up these days?
Oh, it's been an exponential growth. I mean, when I was playing AAU, the first thing, it wasn't social media. You know, I'm the dinosaur in the group. So I can speak from those ages, but playing AAU, it was a great experience for one. But now with social media and guys like Alec who can track these stats and be able to compile so much information and all the resources that are provided for these kids, I just think it's a fantastic platform now to give every kid that advantage of trying to get themselves seen by college coaches and playing at the highest level that their talent can actually take them.
Right. And I mean, we see it so often with these kids. I mean, they're able to promote themselves on social media. Guys who they throw their mixtapes out there. I mean, guys who are nearing their schools down. They've got all these awesome graphics with jerseys of the various schools they're going to. So it's, I kind of love how in this aspect, how social media has been a positive for kids as they get recruited and kind of move up the ranks and whatnot.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's awesome to see. Everybody's a brand now. And I kind of like that individuality that everybody has. Everybody has their own personal platform and able to promote their talents and also use their resources to get to where they're trying to go.
Totally. Yeah. They're able to kind of show their personality a little bit more off the court, and coaches can kind of get to know them better in that aspect.
And in a year, they'll be able to make money off it.
There
you go.
What a unique concept.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to watch how all that unfolds within the next year or so. But guys, we mentioned earlier that through the season ticket, we have player rankings for each class, and we just released our 2021 player rankings just last week. And this is something that, I mean, as a website, you have to take very seriously in how you rank these players and how this whole list comes about. So there's a committee of about 6 people who put this list together. And so Alec, with so many talented players in this class, this rankings, this committee that does this, how does this all come out? What are they looking for when they evaluate these players?
It's a combination of things. Some scouting services will come out and recruiting services and say, hey, we're merely ranking on potential, right? Where you're going to be. Ours is more of a combination of overall production right now, where we think you're going to be, what you project to be, your current, height and weight at a current age certainly make a difference. That's a deterrent in ranking some guys if they max out at an early age. So it's all, it kind of depends on how you view things, which is why we have a committee. I trust the guys that are looking at it. They've been, looking at film and breaking down as many guys as we possibly can since around January. So, it's COVID, so there's no real ideal time to, release rankings because guys aren't playing this summer. But, we evaluated what we had. There's a couple guys that played this spring that certainly used their platform to stand out. So got to take all that into account. And, I'll be the first to admit when you're looking at 3-star recruits and you're looking at what people would call 3-star recruits, like anyone below 100, you're throwing darts at a board. There's a lot of good players between 100 and 500, right? So you go and that's really where production probably, weighs most and what we've seen most from a player, especially if we have, the most film on them. So that's the strategy of ranking guys. We've never done rankings before. I've never done player rankings. I've only done team rankings. at least have my name attributed to it. So, it's been fun. It's, we feel like, you have to have a process to responsibly do rankings, and, responsible is a good word for this industry, because you need to have the right, research to your rankings. And, Rashad does a great job on the pro side, and I took from that. And I'm like, how do you, what do you use to, land on a certain guy and put them here? You need to have a, somewhat of a formula for that to make sense.
And Rashad, being you are, and you've evaluated a lot of potential NBA talent, what do you look for? I mean, like Alex said, some of these guys are so close and could be moved up three spots or down 3 spots or wherever. What do you look for when you're evaluating guys?
I like to trust my eyes a lot. When you're watching a game, especially when you're evaluating, you want to be as pure, as transparent as possible. What's really helped me personally, being able to rank players for the NBA, is my playing experience, because I've played against so many different styles of players and had so many different teammates and coaches. So I'm able to get more of an accurate gauge on players because of me playing. Now, outside of that, watching the film, watching the tape, using my resources, also forecasting to see where that player can land down the line. So you kind of mix that all in like a little bit of gumbo, a little bit.
Right. Yep.
And then voila, you have your, the magic, and you release it off into the world, and then you wait and you see what kid goes where. Yeah. And then you rinse and repeat. You rinse and repeat, because that's the method that's kind of worked for me, in the way that I kind of, helped share it with my close friends and resources like Alec, to kind of, get the best possible read possible.
Yep. And 2 guys that you were pretty high on early on before they were big, Ja Morant and Trae Young. What did you see in those guys so early that you were able to project where they could go?
Well, for me, Trae Young was special. It was, the writing was on the wall, because, I mean, when you look at it, the type of player his father was at Texas Tech. Again, I'm the dinosaur in the room. So, I watched this,
I remember that too. I caught up with him.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, see, Alec, you're a historian.
Yeah.
So you know all of this stuff. Kate, you're young. So
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but no, I watched his father play, and the apple didn't fall far from the tree with Trae. So you knew that his father was going to put him in a situation where he could, succeed. Mm-hmm. A player like Ja Morant reminded me a lot of myself. I was the unranked guy. I was the guy that I wouldn't have made Alex top 100. I was 5'8", 150 pounds, out of Ferndale. Nobody really knew who I was. So I kind of resonated with Ja Morant because of that story. So it was easier for me to kind of vicariously live through him at the time and kind of project what he was going to be.
All right. I like it.
Yeah, and he's one of the unique cases that didn't happen to be play on a shoe circuit. So he was relatively unknown going to Murray State, and he just, I think people in high school knew, the guys that played with him knew. He was on Zion's team. I think they all knew. So, I think that's just a rare case of what misses. And to kind of double down on what Rashad's saying, Rashad knows what translates, and the guys he knows what translates. So I think that's a huge key to it. And obviously being there, what, it takes.
So lesson learned, everyone listen to Rashad moving forward, and he's going to tell you about a couple guys coming up. So now we're going to break down these rankings, these 2021 rankings a little bit more. I want each of you guys to share 3 players on this list that you're really excited about. And these guys don't have to be at the top of the list. They can be anywhere between 1 and 150. Rashad, we will start with you.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
I am, yeah.
I'm interested to see who he picked. Honestly, there's a lot of –
yeah, so my favorite high school player right now is Jaden Hardy, and out of Las Vegas. I mean, this kid is terrific. We call him 6-star Hardy. His ability to make shots from all over the floor, his ability to shape chemistry with his teammates. He's a winner. And not only that, he just kind of reminds me a lot of Ray Allen when Ray was at UConn. Like, he kind of gives me those type of flashes. I just one of my favorite kids to watch. Also, I like small guards. I'm a little biased here. I like the kid Kennedy Chandler. Won the Peach Jam last year.
Winner, yep.
He wins. It's a small guard, so I'm always a little biased for those. I think he's going to be terrific at the next level. Wherever he goes, he's going to win games. Last but not least, Kobe Bufkin. I hear he's the best player on that team down in Detroit, and he's making a college choice, right, guys?
Yeah, I think today he's making his choice. He should be announcing it this afternoon, and so when this comes out, he will have already made his choice. But we're taping this right before he does. Where are we thinking?
I'm gonna put my bid in now. I think it's gonna go to Michigan. I'm gonna say Michigan. What do you think, Alec?
I think he's going to Michigan. I think he's got Ann Arbor written all over him, quite frankly, and I think it's a good fit for him too.
I'm gonna follow suit and go Michigan with you guys as well.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully we get this one right.
Yeah, be a good start to our first podcast so far.
And the families, the family of Detroit, the EYBL team up there, they're a guard factory. So if they're saying, hey, they're putting their stamp on Kobe, I'm gonna follow suit.
All right, Alec. Well, let's hear your three guys. Who do you have?
Yeah, I got first is Peyton Watson. So we ranked him fifth, and I'm super excited about the potential of Peyton Watson. 247 beat us to the punch with kind of the lofty ranking. He was kind of sitting in the mid-teens everywhere else, but he's you watch the film on him, 6'7" combo guard, can fill it up. He would have scored 20 points a game, I think, in the EYBL this year. Next, Blake Wesley for the Indy Heat. Also a big, strong guard. I think he would have averaged double figures in the EYBL. They're raving about him. They're raving about how he plays alongside talent, and that Indy Heat team is loaded. So he might not be ranked high enough where he is. And then the third one I would say is Mac Etienne of the PSA Cardinals. Mac is just transferred to Brewster Academy. Big, strong kid, about 6'11", 200 and probably 20, 30 pounds. Gets up and down the floor, knows how to block shots. I think he'll thrive in Brewster Academy system. And I think he might not be ranked high enough as well. So he's a production guy, averaged a double-double. And I think he would have led a pretty massive front line for the PSA Cardinals this spring and summer.
All right, well, I'm going to go with two guys because Alec just took one of mine, so we'll let that one be. I'm going to go with Chet Holmgren, 7 feet tall. I love this kid because he's so unique, he's so athletic. To be that tall and as athletic as he is, he's got these long arms, makes him a great rim protector. But if you guys watch his highlights, he's flying through the air for alley-oops. He's dunking on guys. He can move with that size, which I love.
Unicorn. He's a unicorn.
Kate, you're gonna have to come home sometime this winter back to Minneapolis because he's right in my backyard, and he's that team's a lot of fun to watch too. So
I know I maybe am a little biased towards him because he's a Minnesota guy. I'm a Minnesota girl, but they played Sierra Canyon this past season, played in front of 17,000 people. So this guy also kind of knows how to play in front of big crowds, which I think is really important going to the next level.
And he had a triple-double. Over Sierra Canyon.
Yeah.
So that was that's
why he's ranked number 2 on our rankings.
He reminds me. He's giving me a Porzingis vibe.
Yeah, I like that.
Kind of reminds me of Porzingis. Just a multifaceted, skilled player that can do a little bit of everything. Moves better than what you would think for a person that tall. Sometimes you can be too tall.
Yep.
And he carries it really well. And he does a great job. So
he's only going to get stronger. He's only going to get stronger, and he's only going to fill out that frame. And he plays with a mean streak. That's what I love about him.
I think if he can put on weight without losing his speed or athleticism, I think he'll be pretty dangerous.
What's your second one? What's the second one?
All right, my second one is Rahsool Diggins, and I love what this guy can do with the ball in his hands. He is someone that makes his team go, excellent passer, and that's what I really enjoy watching about him. He can fire the pass with either hand. He can get the ball in the post easily. And when he gets the basket, he's crafty around the rim. He knows how to finish. So he's ranked 37 on our list, but he's pretty high on my list. I really like his game.
Yeah, that kid's a winner. He actually plays for, right in the background there, team final. He would have been their point guard, and that whole team basically goes to Archbishop Wood.
Yeah.
So that high school team is going to be something else this season.
He was named City Player of the Year last year and Philadelphia Catholic League MVP. So, I mean, he's already got some good accolades working for him.
Good pick,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's a good pick. That kid's a gamer. Like, he came in high in our rankings, and I think he would have like competed for leading the UIB on scoring. I truly believe that. Like, he's a kid, would have thrived alongside that type of competition.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him throughout the rest of the summer. But a reoccurring segment that we hope to have on the show each week is called Talk Soon. Rashad, you are the creator of Talk Soon. Explain kind of what all that is to us.
Yeah, it's just a saying that I've come up with when I talk about certain players and the egg hasn't hatched yet. So it's more like I'm going to present this egg and I'll sit it here. And when it hatches, then we'll talk. So think about it like that. I
like it. So we are using this segment to name a few up-and-coming breakout players that we should keep an eye on. So, guys, with our list of 150, obviously they're ranked 150 for a reason. They're pretty good. But let's focus on the bottom 20 or so. Who is maybe a sleeper, maybe someone that could have been moved up on that list that you guys like?
I'll go first. I really love Andrew McConnell. I got a chance to see him. He had 4 great games last week. This kid plays for Team Hanjo. Just very poised, crafty finisher. And what I loved on tape about him was his ability to create space and knock down the jump shot. Mm-hmm. I'm a jump shooter by nature. So anytime I see a guard that can make shots, I really get excited. So McConnell does a terrific job. He was named first team or the Tip-Off Classic. We named him that. So just a fantastic player. So keep an eye on him. Talk soon.
All right. I like it. Alec?
Yeah. So my kid was also in action last week. We have him ranked 76. Wesley Cardette from Team Breakdown. I challenge Rashad to go see him a couple times this spring, right in Rashad's back door outside his back door in Orlando. This kid can score. He can defend. He wants to guard the other team's best player. Watched a couple of his games and Team Breakdown. He's playing with 2 of the top 2023 players in the country, Matt and Ryan Bewley. They're twins. And the way he runs with them and leads them, as a rising senior, like he checks off all the boxes. So, I would be surprised if he didn't make after seeing what I saw, knowing where he ranked him, if he didn't make a pretty drastic rise next time we update.
All right.
So that's a talk soon, right?
That's
now.
Definitely a talk soon because you're gonna see him in about 2 months, and I think he's gonna have offers from twice as many colleges as he does now. I think he's gonna pass the sniff test. You're gonna go watch the film, and he's gonna back up everything that people are chirping about.
I like it.
Definitely one of those.
I like it too. All right, guys. Well, that is all we have for today. The season ticket, we'll be launching our 2022 Top 100 in mid-July. So be sure to visit seasonticket.com and look out for those. You can also follow us on the Season Ticket or the Circuit Hoops on Twitter and Instagram. And then also be sure to check out Rashad's site, sportstalk2319.com.
And his interview.
I was just going to say, he's got an awesome sit-down documentary-style interview with Isaiah Thomas. That's pretty fire. So I encourage you all to go over and check it out. Follow him as well, Instagram and Twitter at RP3Natural. Guys, that's all. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you guys next time.
Talk soon.
Take it easy.